Negative people can be a real drag on your life, and if you're not careful, it can have some pretty serious consequences for your mental and emotional well-being. So how can you detach from those negative people? Here are 6 ways how. Number 6. Know that you can't change them. Let's face it, we all have that one friend who seems to be a magnet for drama and negativity. No matter how much we try to cheer them up or offer solutions, they just keep coming back with more complaints and problems. The first step in dealing with these people is to accept that you can't change them. It's like trying to teach a cat to bark. It's just not going to happen. They are who they are, and no amount of pleading, cajoling, or reasoning is going to magically transform them into a more positive person. This doesn't mean that you have to give up on the relationship entirely. It just means that you need to adjust your expectations and approach. Instead of trying to change them, focus on accepting them as they are and setting boundaries that work for you. One way to do this is to practice radical acceptance. This is a mindfulness technique that involves acknowledging and accepting reality without judgment. It's like saying to yourself, this person is negative, and that's just how they are. It's not good or bad, it just is. Another thing you could do is shift your focus from the negative behavior to the positive. This doesn't mean ignoring the negative, but rather balancing it out with a positive experience and interaction. For example, if your colleague is always complaining about their job, try to steer the conversation towards things that they do enjoy about their work, being deliberately positive. This way, the killjoy colleague will have no way to dump their negative vibes on you, and when they find that you are not interested in those kinds of conversations, they will slowly drift away. Remember, accepting that you can't change the negative people in your life is not giving up on them. It's giving up on the idea that you have the power to change them. By doing so, you free yourself from the frustration and disappointment of trying to control the uncontrollable. Number 5. Setting boundaries. We all have those people in our lives who everyone knows is bad news. Maybe it's a coworker who always finds something to criticize or a family member who can never seem happy. Whatever the situation, it's important to set clear boundaries to protect your own well-being. The first step in setting boundaries is to identify what behavior is unacceptable to you. This might include things like constant criticism, passive-aggressive comments, or complaining without any effort to solve the problem. Once you've identified these behaviors, make a plan for how you'll respond when they occur. One approach is to be direct and assertive. When someone crosses one of your boundaries, calmly but firmly let them know that it's not okay. For example, if a coworker is constantly criticizing your work, you might say something like, "I appreciate your feedback, but I feel like your tone is coming across as critical rather than constructive. Can we work on finding a more positive way to communicate?" Another approach is to limit your exposure to negative people. This might mean avoiding certain situations or conversations, or even cutting ties with people who constantly bring you down. While it can be tough to let go of relationships, sometimes it's necessary for your own well-being. Of course, setting boundaries is never simple. It can be uncomfortable to confront someone, and it's natural to want to avoid conflict. But remember, setting boundaries is not about changing someone else's behavior, it's about protecting your own mental and emotional health. Never forget to give yourself permission to walk away from relationships that no longer serve you. You deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift and support you, and setting boundaries is an important step toward achieving that goal. Number 4. Stop justifying yourself. Look, it's natural to feel some guilt about cutting someone out of your life. You may feel like you need to explain your decision so there are no hard feelings. Sometimes this can be a poor choice. You may end up over-explaining, getting emotionally involved again, and get sucked into an argument. You will be back to square one in no time. The truth is that you're not responsible for their happiness or well-being, and your own mental health should always come first. If someone is bringing you down or causing you unnecessary stress or drama, it's perfectly okay to distance yourself without providing a detailed justification. It all begins with recognizing that you have the power to control your own life. It is important to realize that negative people are just not worth it, and no one has the right over your time at the cost of your mental peace. If someone is bringing negative energy into your life, you have every right to walk away from the situation without feeling guilty or ashamed. We are often taught to be people pleasers and to feel guilty for putting ourselves first. However, it's important to realize that you are the most important person in your life. You don't have to live up to anyone else's expectations or make excuses for your decisions. A helpful way to shift your mindset is to remind yourself of your own worth. You are amazing, a unique person with so much to offer the world. You deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift and support you, not bring you down. Number 3, focus on your thoughts. When we're surrounded by negative people, their thoughts and feelings can seep into our own minds and impact our own thoughts and emotions. By refocusing our thoughts and redirecting our attention, we can lessen the impact of these negative influences and protect our own mental well-being. It's important that you become more aware of your own feelings and emotions. When we're feeling overwhelmed or stressed, it can be easy to fall into negative thought patterns. But by tuning into our own emotions and recognizing when we're feeling triggered, we can take steps to refocus our thoughts in a more positive direction. Another powerful technique is to practice mindfulness. This involves being present in the moment and focusing on our thoughts and emotions without judgment. By becoming more mindful, we can develop a greater awareness of our own thought patterns and make conscious choices about how we want to respond to negative people and situations. Ultimately, this is about taking ownership of our own mental well-being. We have the power to choose which thoughts we engage with and which we let go. By becoming more mindful and intentional about our thoughts, we can create a more positive and fulfilling life, free from the influence of negative people and their energy. Number 2, be upfront. When it comes to cutting negative people out of your life, sometimes the most straightforward approach is the best. That's right, sometimes you just need to tell it like it is and let the negative folks know that they're no longer welcome in your life. And if you can do it in a smart and funny way, all the better. First, make sure you're prepared for the conversation. Take some time to think about what you want to say and how you want to say it. You don't need to be rude or confrontational, but you do need to be clear and direct. When you're ready, arrange a time to talk to the negative person one-on-one. Start by acknowledging that you value the person and the relationship, but that you've noticed a pattern of negativity that's been weighing you down. Explain that you're committed to cultivating a more positive and supportive environment in your life, and that unfortunately their negativity doesn't align with that goal. If the person is receptive, great, you can have a productive conversation about how to move forward. But if they start getting defensive or argumentative, it's time to bring out the big guns. Channel your inner comedian and hit them with some hilarious one-liners. For example, "I'm sorry, but I don't have room in my life for a professional complainer. My quota is already filled by my toddler, who at least has the excuse of being 2 years old." Okay, so maybe it isn't the best example, but you get the idea. The point is, sometimes a little humor and wit can make a difficult conversation more breathable. Your one-liners might even just make the negative person realize that their behavior is truly not cool and cause them to change for the better. Number 1, unfollow and mute. Here's how it works. Instead of confronting that negative Nancy who's always bringing you down, simply unfollow and mute them on social media. Yep, it's that simple. Think about it. Why subject yourself to seeing their daily complaints about their life, political rants, or passive-aggressive posts when you can easily just hit that unfollow button and never see their content again? Plus, if you're worried about them noticing and causing drama, just mute them. They'll never know, and you'll never have to see their posts again. You can be sure that they will never post anything worth your time. Still, if you are curious, you can check up on them once in a blue moon. The best part of the unfollow and mute method is that it's completely painless and won't leave you feeling guilty or anxious about cutting someone off. Plus, it's a great way to declutter your social media feed and surround yourself with a more positive and uplifting content. Trust me, your mental health will thank you. This brings today's video to an end. I hope you liked it. Which of today's tips did you find most helpful? Do let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video with more self-care secrets. Till then, take care.